to our concierge about press who wanted to come. Is that true?
Yes.
Who are you expecting? Because I only had your 4 names.
Oh no. Just his wife, we want, his wife come to take a picture.
Ah,
yes.
Okay, I see.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, but so I didn't know about that. So
that's okay.
Why.
I should have sent the name anyway, but
yeah. No, I always need all the names before, because we have quite strict rules regarding access to our premises.
Thank you very much. And this is my
Oh, yours.
Okay.
Very nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you too, Julia.
So this is the address in Grant, right?
Yes, it is.
This is why we thought you were located here. Okay, thank you.
Main office.
Thank you very much.
Okay, and how big is your association?
We have a main office here, but our community is most of we living in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you have a membership?
Yes, we do. There are 3 kinds of memberships: honorary, invited people only, VIP sort of, and then we have normal US-based memberships. These people will be able to vote because we are registered here in the States.
Yes.
So only residents of the United States can.
But nationwide.
Nationwide.
Okay.
Nationwide.
And where's your main headquarters for you?
It's on Grand Street here in San Francisco.
Oh, in San Francisco.
Right.
Oh, okay, but you have members all over the United States.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And how many members do you have?
Even in Thailand, we have members.
Yeah.
The third type is a global membership, so that means everybody around the world. Actually, after this meeting, I'm headed to Europe to expand our networks in all those countries.
But your main seat is here.
Correct.
Okay, so how many members do you have?
Over 1,000 here in the States alone.
Okay.
But globally, I think we have, for example, we have a YouTube channel that broadcasts news, political news, and issues about human rights.
Yeah.
We have approximately 120,000 viewers each day.
Okay.
That is the YouTube channel alone. And then we also have our radio broadcast.
And the YouTube channel is made here?
It is made
produced
here. Actually, it's done online. We have guests from all around the world.
Okay.
So
all in Thai, I imagine.
Well, some in English. For example, last year we had our representative attend the CICC State Party Assembly. Have you heard of that?
No.
Actually, CICC is an organization pushing countries around the world to ratify the Rome Statute so that they will be under
of course.
jurisdiction of the
ICC.
Yes.
It says yes.
We are
International.
We are.
It's got a different abbreviation in all languages. Yes.
NGO representative for
good.
Thailand joining the CICC.
So you're promoting ratifying the Rome Statutes.
We definitely, and we want Thailand to ratify.
Germany does.
If you look at the letter, actually, which we will give you later. Actually, here is the introduction to the organization. So
Thank you.
And one is the letter of introduction, and the other one is actually the letter explaining about the situations in Thailand that has led to our worries.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Thailand needs to ratify the Rome Statute. There have been far too many massacres in Thailand for us, a country that's a country that's supposedly peaceful. There have been so many massacres, and then with the royal amnesty, nobody can say no to it. So amnesty has been granted repeatedly after all massacres. And
so you think the royal amnesty has been used too much?
Too much.
Okay.
Too much. And plus now we have learned that certain massacres led by people like the Royal Army have not been prosecuted. The massacre in 2010, I guess you probably are well aware of. And thanks to your government, and actually you represent very, very well in the EU. And also in the UN security, and that's the reason
from time to time.
You are the first country that we approach, because we believe in the goodwill that you have.
Okay, thank you very much.
Right.
Your confidence. Yeah, we have a very active embassy in Bangkok too, but in general we promote human rights. Yeah, and yeah, we're not always members of the Security Council, of course. We're just non-permanent members. But when we can, of course, also in the General Assembly, promote human rights issues. Okay, interesting. So how old is your association?
It has been almost 2012. Yeah, it's going to be 2 years.
Young.
Young, very young.
Wow.
Very young. It's on the blog. Yes.
2012.
Yeah.
June 28th, 2012.
So you were the ones who
2 years
founded it.
exactly.
Yeah, it's going to be 2 years or next month.
Okay, you are the ones who founded
Yes.
it.
Actually, we are 3 of us were the founders.
Yeah.
And actually, we have 4 or 5 other colleagues down in Los Angeles. They can't make it.
Okay, I see. That's very recent, and you have a lot of members.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, and that's the 1,000 members in the United States.
See, one at our Human Rights Foundation, we are also NGO of CICC, and we have member 2,500.
CICC is a big organization. I think that we are so lucky to be affiliated with it. It has like 2,500 organizations, NGOs around the world. So we hope that that kind of networking will help us, gain some sort of voice and authority and power that we need in order to push people in Thailand.
You want to push the government to ratify the statute, but you also want to convince the people.
In fact, in Thailand, it's a little more complicated than that. You probably are aware that a lot of things cannot be done without the king's endorsement, his signature. And the king himself has all the networks, kind of very strong networks in all spheres.
We just sent the mail to the king last November. And then it's since now 6-7 months, still no answer.
Okay, you sent an email to them. Okay. Yeah, it's a very old and traditional monarchy.
Yeah.
I think right now the problem is that the king is at the center of the power, and of course we're not blaming people from one family alone, but his authority, his power spreads through all spheres of the society, all branches of power. And right now, what we see in Thailand is what they call silent coup d'etat.
And most of power can do anything, against law, sell drug, it's a business under tax or whatever, any on kind make social, in Thailand lose atmosphere, and people there, is nonsense to accept this, because it's Thai people get like a brainwash. You see,
blind loyalty to the monarchy, and that has caused a problem. Anybody carrying yellow flag or the symbol of the monarch, the Thai monarch, would be able to do things. We love our father, so we could do anything. The other guys are wrong. The other guys are bad. If you look at the PDRC, the People's Democracy Reform Committee, they claim to represent the majority of the people, but in fact they are the minority elites.
And that's a party?
It is a movement of the people,
yes.
The middle class people. They have the court behind them. They have the army alongside with them. They have money from the big capitalists in the country. So when they all orchestrate their efforts together, you definitely can see that they can do anything. They can have guards, armed guards, all over the capital city, threatening people, beating up people, even killing people, shooting at people. One of the army generals has just been shot at. The reason was that he was driving back to his residence, and he found the traffic, cone, traffic cone, used by the guards. So he came down to remove it. and he got shot at. He almost got killed. Army general. Well, since the army is also along the same side with the PDRC, so nothing happened as a result. So it's becoming really messed up.
Yeah.
The rule of law is virtually totally damaged. The sense of security and confidence in the authority in the country, the government, has been slashed. That's kind of sad. Have you been to Thailand?
I have, yes.
On the surface, Thais are very peace-loving, I would say, friendly,
very
hospitable. But it's according to the law, say divide and conquer, divide and rule. That's what's happening in Thailand. They create the nation's enemy, which is the Chinawatra. Yeah, corrupted and how can a corruptive government be so much loved by people? How did people get so hopeful when that person was in power? And now the man is outside of the country. His sister comes into power. They still think that this is a bad girl. And you look at Jinglak Chinawatra, I mean, she doesn't look like a bad person. If she ever did anything wrong, prosecute her through the courts. Use the system. But the problem is the system has been manipulated by the royalists. So, you can't really rely on anything. The reason we are here is really, we want powerful countries like Germany, the United States, China, to really look into Thailand and see its potential in contributing to the world. Peaceful Thailand, prosperous Thailand can bring about a lot of positive changes in the region and global. It can feed the world. It can be a good example where economy and democracy can go hand in hand, smoothly. Now people are ready for changes, but the elites do not want to let go, especially the king. The thing is, something a little deeper is that it's not only the king that wants to hang on to the power. It is the capitalists, the army, the elites, all the people who can benefit from the old system,
even justice.
The judges, because they gain access to power and benefits by being attached to the monarchy, so they don't want to let go. And the Thai king is the #1 richest royal family in the world. So the people who take care of the assets, for sure, they don't want to let go. And the thing is, the princess and the prince are almost eligible for becoming the next king. The old establishments want to support the girl, the princess. Now, but by law, it has to be the prince. So that's why now they want to really seize the cabinet. They forced the lower House of Representatives out. Yingluck had to resign, and now she can't even be an interim government prime minister. She has been forced out by the judge, by the judicial body.
Do you support in this?
We stand firm in the middle. We are politically non-partisan. The way we say now may seem like we are sided with the current government, but no. Actually, here's the word that I would like to get out there.
We want Thai political, follow, like a international, like a German, America, follow everything like copy. We don't want, some kind of old-fashioned, like a monarchy, you have to respect, stay under the feet, We want to sit the same level. We want to know, like you and me,
Equality.
Same level.
Equality. Actually, we would like to see Thailand implement all the democratic principles. Right now, for example, the PDRC, the elites say, well, the country cannot have an election, because then there's fraud in the election. So we get all these bad politicians. Now, then how can you know, who should be in the position without an election, right? So they claim that, okay, election is not the only means. Yes, of course, yes. But if you don't have an election, you don't have democracy. That's one of the things. Because election is the best tool in determining where the wills of the people are, right? And they forget all about other principles. For example, popular sovereignty. Without election, and if you don't respect the election results, how can you implement popular sovereignty? Because actually it's the people's will that is supreme above all, right? So that's the conflict in the way that people put forward their agendas. But we know that Thailand needs to enforce all the democratic principles, and they need to be pressured. Right now we can't do that because the people who have too much power associated with or connected with the palace can do anything against the law. When the guards, PDRT guards, came out of Bangkok shooting at people, abusing the rights of the people, the police were not allowed to even carry the weapon for fear that when a person is dead or is injured, the government would be forced to leave, to be ousted. So the rule of law is broken. Now, okay, talking about politically non-partisan. In Thailand right now, it's the game of red shirts and yellow shirts. Thais cannot talk reasons, and it's really, really difficult for them to compromise. Now, the reason we established the Thai Alliance for Human Rights 2 years ago was because we thought there must be a common language that brings people together, and that language is not the political language. It has to be human rights language, because after all, human rights principles are above and beyond, or maybe twins of the human rights, of the democracy, right? Human rights, equality, respect for the rights that other people have, the freedom that they have, and that goes hand in hand with democracy. But at least when we talk human rights language, we are not talking about the conflicts that people have. Of course, we do need to address all the conflicts, but with the language about human rights, we don't affiliate ourselves with the red shirts and the yellow shirts. But the thing is, whenever we appear in public talking about democracy and human rights, we tend to be seen as siding with the red shirts. Why? Because red shirts are people who fight for their rights, who have been oppressed. And the other side, they use all their powers in undemocratic and abusive ways. And you don't have to believe us. The statements that we have here, I think right now, international new reporters have revealed the complexity of all the problems, and they point the fingers toward the old establishments.
Okay, so what is the content of the letters you have brought?
You can open and you can have that. We would like, I can read the final part if you would like me to.
And this is for the Chancellor?
Yeah, for the President and the Chancellor.
Okay.
I guess you're going to have to send electronic copy, right?
Yes, but I can scan it. So, but if you have the file, that would be nice too. You can send it to me after.
Yes. I can even send electronic copy to you later if you let me.
Yeah.
The final, I can just keep that.
Thank you.
The final part, what do we need from this? I think that should be in the final paragraph. Thailand is on the brink of becoming a failed state and having a subsequent civil war, unless efforts are made domestically and pressure is sent from the international community. If you have been to Thailand, you should probably know very well of its potential and apparent contributions to the world. Please help us pressure all concerned parties so that they pursue peace, democracy, respect for human rights using only democratic, non-violence, and constructive means. Importantly, Thais must return to the election booths and use this part of the democratic elements as a temporary solution before dialogues, reform efforts, and other civil acts can ensue on the path away from the tragedies. We urge you to do whatever you can now to help push Thailand in the right direction by sending democratic signals to all who are trying to suppress the growth of the people and their freedom. Please keep reviewing updates about Thailand that will soon be published and maintained regularly at our website, and I give the link.
Oh yes.
So,
Okay.
so that you can decide. I try to be neutral, broadcasting information from both sides. But since we are pro-democracy, so we're not really politically partisan, naively partisan, non-partisan. We are pro-democracy, so we make that very clear too.
Okay. Well, we will convey this message to the Chancellor and to the President.
Thank you so much. And this is the letter of introduction, the same copy as what you have.
Oh, same.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. So one is for the President and one is for the Chancellor. I see.
Pass that to the consul so that we can take a picture.
Okay.
That's the letter, yeah, so that we can have that sort of publicity as well. Should it be a picture? Okay, could you please read?